Jaws is my favorite film. So, and I've been saying that before. It was cool to say Jaws is your favorite film. So
Yeah, you know, some people when it first came out, they had negative feelings about Jaws.
really,
Oh yeah, I know. I had friends who, oh, it's a shark movie, you know.
yeah, it's just a popcorn film.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, time has been nothing but good to the film, I think, and definitely in terms of reaction, it's very common now to hear people like hold it even above Raiders and some of the other very popular Spielberg films. But
Carl and I went to a screening at the Alex Theater in Glendale. It's an old Deco theater. A Saturday night, they had 2 screenings, and we were there to introduce stuff. And they had hundreds of people there, very enthusiastic, and they had a really good print.
Yeah.
And I watched most of the movie. I was in and out because I had things to do. But it doesn't have a 70s look to it. You know, some of the wardrobe, but basically it doesn't, you know.
Well, especially when they get out to sea, then it could be at any point.
Precisely. When they're on the island, there's not too many cars, so you don't have that. There's the old Cadillac. But yeah, it has a certain endless quality to it. You know, timeless quality, I should say.
Well, I hope you don't mind me getting a little geeky with the questions here in specific, but I'd like to start talking a little bit about the color palette of the movie, because there's been some talk about yellow being used to indicate the shark is near, the Kintner raft, the color of the barrels, and all that stuff. Was that a happy accident, or was that something that you guys?
Yellow was something I used to contrast to the blue ocean.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the yellow barrels and the yellow thing. I must say I am upset about this.
Yeah.
We have production meetings, and I had discussed this with Stephen. No red, and everything that I did, I painted off red, because when the shark, when you see the blood, okay. So where they're shooting, the little Kintner boy has red trunks. Steven, I said, he's got red trunks. Oh God, wardrobe, but that's all we have. Well, we got to keep shooting, the schedule is tight, And then there was a raft, a boat, a little rowboat, and that was red. And I said to we're not supposed to use red. Oh yeah, but I don't have another. And so, if we had this giant film schedule that they have today or whatever, okay, cut, go get a different cut boat, paint a boat, but we didn't. So we got away with doing that. But that was something that Stephen and I wanted to do, was have no red, and then when you see red, there was the impact. So there was a color thing there. And the yellow was mostly a contrast of the ocean.
Okay, so it's not, because I know that there have been people who've written about it as supposed to be an indicator of the shark being near. So it was actually intended more as just a way to stand out against the water.
Precisely. And then the barrels, because of the shark delay, because they didn't have enough time to test it, it became a good substitute for the shark. And I don't know if that was an accident, I got to be honest, or it was like, let's use the barrels. And I had the barrels set up so that one would pop up, and so they were pretty dramatic, like a bolt action gun, boom, and then the other one would pop. And then when it popped up, you got this yellow thing. So they became characters, and they represented the shark. But that was it. Yeah.
Okay. Can we talk a little bit about the sign, actually?
Yes.
I read fairly recently in the Memories of Martha's Vineyard book that, and a little bit of trivia, I didn't know that girl was actually Brian De Palma's girlfriend at the time.
That was Brian De Palma's girlfriend, and
That's
she was a little insulted by doing it. But yes, I put her on. I took the photograph. I didn't. I laid it out and I put her there, and it's very cute. And when I'm just doing a picture for. Well, Brian said to do it, I guess, Anyway, that is Brian De Palma's girlfriend.
That's crazy. So, so how long did it take to build the sign? And because it was the Universal painters that their sign department, is that right?
We built the sign and then we shipped it. And I have a very funny story there. Ward Welton was my painter. And he wanted something that would protect it. So he came up with this crazy idea of painting it all with white glue. And white glue would dry clear. But it didn't. and it was getting closer to the time we had to shoot it, and he was going crazy because I said, "What the hell did you do?" You know, he says, "Well, yeah, but I needed something to see." You know, and anyway, it eventually it cleared up. So.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that sign, we had to put that sign up a day and take it down because all the building ordinances stuff, they didn't want it hanging around.
Yeah, which I hear that they kind of regretted, like because they didn't this Martha's Vineyard, I think it was in Gay Head where Quint Shack.
Menemsha.
Menemsha, that's right, where Quint Shack was, and that they were very strict about needing it torn down, and then they kind of liked it when it was built up.
We had to put a $500,000 bond.
Yeah.
And that was a big percentage of the budget of the movie. Yeah. And I was there last year, and I'm going to be there in a week or so. Mm-hmm. And there's the same empty lot, the same junk on it, and it would have been great. It would have been a great museum. It would have been a library. It could have been anything. And we built it pretty strong, too, you know. Yeah. It would have lasted. Yeah, they tore it down.
In our last minute or so here, we should probably talk about the Orca, which, you know, it could be just because it's my favorite film, but to me that's a really iconic boat, and I love that you know, a lot of times, you know, production designers and film crew, they try to make things look weathered, but they're not. They just kind of look fake, dirty. This looks like it's lived in. Same with Quint Shack, but.
Ward Welton was an old-time painter.
Yeah.
He's passed away. He worked on just about all my movies.
Yeah.
He had 14,000 square feet of rock to paint in Martha in Close Encounters when we did the big set. He was so good. I mean, the old-time painters, they had weathering down, and he just did a superb job of that. Yeah. But yeah, we bought the boat and totally redid it. Mm-hmm. Put a new cabin, new all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And it was really interesting to give it a character that reflected Quint, bigger than life, you know, with all this stuff, with the pulpit and the crow's nest and all this stuff. Yeah. And yes, the color, you know, it was that sort of color of your shirt and then black, you know. It was not like the rest of the fishing boats.
No, absolutely.